Ciao guys, can you hear me? Both the game, my voice, the same things as usual, that I don't know how it works here. Yeah, even after over 10 streaming episodes, I'm hopeless. Ciao Ghost Dragon, thanks for being here. Ciao Seb, grazie. I'm so glad that you're here. Really, thank you guys for bearing me. Alright, just give me please some feedback about the quality of the audio and the play somehow. Alright. I hope everything is fine. I already played Parasite Eve a few times, but I don't know this game so well, especially compared to the second episode, which is one of my favorite game ever. So for the first episode, as you can see, I'm not so good, especially for the JRPG gameplay, which is more focused to this kind of gameplay. Alright guys, so this is the last but one episode about Parasite Eve. I really think this because the last chapter is all about boss fight. There are, I remember, if I do correctly, about 6, 7 boss fighter, one after another. So I really think I'll do a episode of streaming at a whole episode for the last chapter. So this is one about the last but one chapter. So we're still in the museum, but for a very little exploration, because as I already told you, there are 3 boss fights here in this chapter. So okay, we can begin. No. Resident Evil 3, also about the original one, has uh, only a few bosses fight compared to Parasite Eve. But this is mostly about the different gameplay, because Parasite Eve is a half JRPG, that this gameplay is very focused to several and many different boss fights, and survivor horror is another kind of gameplay, totally different. That's why I'm keeping to tell that Parasite Eve is the perfect marriage between the survivor horror and the JRPG genres that are so different. Alright, just increase a little the defense here. 47 is pretty good. The weapon is loaded. Yeah, okay. it's a pity that we can't explore the museum anymore, because it's a very good area about the survivor horror. The fixed angles of camera are impressive. Just look at these dinosaurs. The perspectives are just amazing. «25 milioni di anni fa l'ossigeno aumentò nell'aria perché fotosintesi dei batteri, mi pare». Ok. Parasite Eve is a game from late 1997 and early 98. So we can say it's a kind of improvement compared to the first Resident Evil. But it's pretty... I don't want to say the same, but the quality is pretty equal of Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 3 maybe is a little better, because the background of Resident Evil 3, in my opinion, are impressive, are truly impressive. Okay guys, and here we go with the first boss fight for this chapter. So, wish me good luck! First, take this. And here we have a crossover with Dino Crisis. I wish. You're a tough one, right? And the first part is done. Now, the second is better use the the grenade launcher with the freeze rods. Done! Alright, Now, sorry guys, but it's better that I'm gonna to save and I try to play the best fair way as possible. So I'm going to the save room. It's not so far, so don't worry. Yeah, you say good, Ghost Dragon, about the remake of Dino Crisis. Along to Parasite Eve is one of those games that really deserves and needs a remake operation. I really, I really can't stand the fact that some games of 7th generation of console and even the 8th one have a remake operation, but Parasite Eve, Dino Crisis, Clock Tower, all these titles haven't. I really can't stand it. Are you saying about Clock Tower? It's a kind of port rather than a remastered because it's very difficult making a remastered of 2D games. So Clock Tower Rewind, the porting that was released last month, it's a pretty porting. It isn't a remastered, but of course it's better than nothing. Of course, I'm very glad for this, especially because Clock Tower, the first sphere, so the very first chapter that was released for the first time on 1995 on Super Nintendo, never came out on West. It was an exclusive of Japan. So that's such a good thing that finally we can play Clock Tower in an official way. Don't worry guys, here's the save room. It's near here. Yeah, I'm playing with an emulator and then I can save everywhere, but for my streaming I really wish to do a pretty fair play, if I can say so. Yeah, the fact that The Last of Us, and the second chapter, the first one has a remake and the second has a remastered, to me is such a waste of time. Literally a waste of time. Also because I'm one of the few people that totally enjoyed Resident Evil 4 remake for both the gameplay and for the more focusing of the serial lore. But to me, Resident Evil 4 remake, it wasn't so needed, in my opinion. I really wish more for a Code Veronica, and of course, I want a totally dedicated chapter about the fall of Umbrella, but that's another story. Alright guys, now we're ready for the second boss fight in this chapter. Oh my. Let's hope for good. and wish me again luck. Pariah. And then we have another crossover with Dino Crisis. Yeah, in my life, I really need a Parasite Eve, Resident Evil, and Dino Crisis crossover. I really need it. Grazie, Seb. Grazie. The T-Rex has such a impressive attack that can damage you about 16 point of life, I think. So, the secret for winning this battle is being pretty behind the dinosaurs, but it's hard. Please move it. Move it, please. No. Here we go again. Oh my, that was tough. Oh, good boy. You're a tough cookie. Really tough one. Oh, finally! And we finally have Liberate. Oh, the most powerful mitochondria power of Haya. Yeah, that's what I meant before. The fire damage is really insane. But I am also stuck to avoid that. But we finally made it! And I didn't die. It pretty surprised me. Yeah, because as I warned you before, I'm not good to JRPG mechanics, so sorry. Alright. Now, let's save, of course. And then go up again to the second floor. But as you can see about the gameplay of Parasite Eve, for all the JRPG mechanics that are totally combined with the survival horror atmosphere and features, really, I'm totally sure that a remake of Parasite Eve would be totally wonderful. Also because this game has a very scientific plot with a very strong and good argument about the genetic and mitochondria and so on. So it would be really perfect for this new generation of gaming. We really need to make a more powerful weapon also for the futures. We really need to for the last battle of this episode. Yeah, also because even the characters, Aya Brea used to be one of the most famous female characters back on 50 generation of console. Aya, along to Jill and Lara, were the trinity of the female characters in video games. Of course, there are others like also Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy VII. But I clearly remember when I was a baby that learned to read through the magazine of video games. I literally saw always Jill, Aya, and Lara, always on magazine, always. They were the trinity of a female face of video games, so Aya really needs to be loved by the new generation of gamers. Really, she deserves. And then we have a little, a very little backtracking to do for some items, but don't worry, it's very little. Okay, this one is the weapon we need. Alright, then let's customize it a bit. Okay. Now with this weapon we have another turn. This one, the first one that I can, for example, shoot him, and then I can use the parasite energy for healing, and that's so useful. You're almost dead, right? Now we're a little faster to deal with the enemies, because we have another turn, an extra turn. All right. Now let's get other two items that the most of players don't know about this for the first time. But if you turn him back, the glasses area is broken, and then you're allowed to get two items that you couldn't before. Here, all two. Then, now before the last boss fight for this episode, we need to customize this weapon. But for making this, we need to come back to the RPD, as I like to say, the New York department. So sorry for this pretty waste of time that could be a little boring, but I really need to for facing Eve. Then we can talk about how much I love a remake of Parasite Eve. No, the first floor. Okay. I always talk about the same things, but really I wish so much the kind of remake operation. Just because I really see a kind of stop of new innovation about video games in these last generations. I really feel the games are pretty the same about the gameplay and what they want to focus on. And that's a really pity. And before you asking, yeah, I'm pretty old because I'm a 28 years woman. But I'm not that old that I've grown up with the second or third generation of console. My childhood is about the PlayStation 1 and 2, the GameCube, this kind of consoles. And I really felt the differences between a PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, or a Nintendo 64 and a GameCube. I really want some kind of that feeling also for this kind of generation. And don't get me wrong, I've a PlayStation 5 right here next to me. So I'm not only a retro gamer. I'm playing on PlayStation 5, of course. But I really find myself playing my in my free time mostly the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 titles. Really. And that's really makes me think and also discuss about this new generation of console that is really pretty the same of the previous one, but also I dare to say also the seventh ones. So yeah, I'm annoy you. I know, I know that well. Just give me a minute to do this kind of operations. Yeah, also the granite launcher is pretty useless now. Okay. Yeah, Ghost Dragon. I'm totally agree with you. I really think the developers just think about the graphics and the photorealistic mm, atmosphere or some kind of. It's all about the graphics. And so they use all the money, all the time, all the searches just for improve the graphics and that kind of aspect of the game. And about the gameplay, is pretty the same of the last two generation of consoles. Really, we have the same action, the same shooters, the same adventures. Really, guys, I'm not saying this as a old woman that yeah, in my times everything was better. Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you that I really don't feel any innovation. And in to me, every time I'm playing a new game, I just think that it's pretty the same that I played before and the previous one again and again. While this kind of feeling really is absent with PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, but also the first half of generation of PlayStation 3, and of course, also about the um, oh my 3060 Xbox, of course. And again, I'm telling you that I'm a PlayStation 5 owner, so it's not only about the retro gaming. And yeah, I really love the bravery that have the indie games about that. I really play many indie games in this era, and I'm so glad for that. Okay, last customize. Mm. All right, done. Let's reload that handgun. That's now it's a pretty shotgun, handgun, a handgun reloaded with shells. Is it possible? In Parasite Eve, yeah, it is. Okay. I hope this will be enough. I really hope that. Let's find out then. Well, I you say about Resident Evil 3 that is my favorite video games ever since I'm able to remember. Really, in my first memories, this is me that I'm playing Resident Evil 3 all time. So yeah, I do think Resident Evil 3 along to Parasite Eve 2 have such an amazing and impressive graphics. Also about the design of the monsters, the charisma, the character, characterization. Sorry, it's a pretty hard word to me that I'm Italian to say. Sorry, really for my ignorance. But the characters are so human. You really feel their charisma. Yeah, I'm so in love with these games. All right. Now let's hope that I'm not going to die with Eve. I'll do my best, guys. Yeah, we need to reach Eve, who's in the fourth floor. But before that, there will be several cutscenes, and I'm gonna to explain you some Maya and Kiyomi Eve's affair. Because as I told you in a previous episode of Parasite Eve streamings, this game is a sequel of the original opera, original work of Parasite Eve that is a book, is a horror novel. So for totally enjoy Parasite Eve, the video game, you really need to read the book or the manga, or also watch the movie adaptation. That's so creepy, but also fascinating, if we can say so, for a horror game, because horror games need to be like this. They need to impress you with this also kind of delicate topics. But again, the fact that Eve is pregnant is the focus of Parasite Eve because Eve wants to give birth to the ultimate life form that is a human being with the mitochondria that totally control the nucleus because in the in the real world there are the nucleus that have the control over the mitochondria. Yeah, sorry for my very bad English, and I want to explain this in English that is more difficult, but I hope you understand something. I remind you this game is from late 1970, early 98. These CG cutscenes are impressive, are truly impressive. Yeah, but Science Parasite Eve was made by Squaresoft, that is the previous Square Enix, if we can say so. Of course, they had much money for making these wonderful cutscenes, but the talent behind this is truly amazing. Now, both Daniel and Maeda are telling about Maya, who's the Aya's sister, the little sister. And now I'm gonna to tell you her connection to Kiyomi Eve, who's the original Eve from the novel, the horror novel by Hideaki Sena. Why Melissa has these mitochondria? Okay, I I try to do my best to explain you this in English, but really sorry for already for the bad explanation. But I'm doing my best. Okay, as I told you before, the original Eve was Kiyomi. Kiyomi was the first host of Eve. That was, of course, in Japan because the novel takes place in Japan. and this is totally connected to the video games. That's because Maeda is a Japanese scientist that came from Japan, and he went to New York for focusing his researches about the mitochondria. So because he knows well about the accident in Japan about mitochondria. So then he heard that that happened something of similar at New York too, and then he came in USA. So Kiyomi's um, kidneys were transplanted into Mariko. Mariko is the little girl in the novel of Parasite Eve, and is pretty implied that she is Aya's mother. Also because Aya is half Russian and half Japanese, so that's a connection pretty canon. And then Mariko, in some kind of way, share this kind of mitochondria with the little sister of Aya, that Mariko, because both Mariko and Maya, Aya's sister, Mariko, her mother, their mother, died into due a car accident. Unfortunately, Mariko's body was useless for transplanted organs, but Maya's body was pretty good for that. So Melissa, the enemy of Parasite Eve, the host of Eve, the second host, yeah, we can say the second host of Eve, just take the kidneys from Maya through this operation, this surgery, sorry. And then Melissa got the mitochondria of Maya. Really, guys, sorry if I'm doing a pretty mess, but I hope you're understanding something. If you're interested to just ask me something. But the connections is this one. Is about Aya's mother, so also Maya, since they're sisters. That Mariko is the little girl from the novel that got Kiyomi's kidneys, and then she shared her mitochondria with Maya's, and then Maya's kidneys were transplanted to Melissa, and then Eve got control over Melissa through this kind of connection. We can say this. Yeah, also Jill is a half Japanese and a half French, but she is born in USA, so Jill and Aya share both Japanese Asian stores. Yeah, I put Jill everywhere. You know that I'm obsessive with her. And then, guys, we have several cutscenes about the disaster that Eve is doing at New York. And soon we have the last boss fight for this episode. So just hang on there a little. If you're interested about the Parasite Eve story and you don't get something, just tell me and I try to explain you as the best as I can. Because yeah, the affair between Maya, Kiyomi, Eve, Melissa is pretty complicated. I'm always amazed by the cutscenes that Parasite Eve has. Even for a PlayStation 1 game, there are so many. Yeah, it is. Squaresoft did a wonderful job. Eva is unstoppable. And I really appreciated that the main character, who's a woman, is against another woman that is a villain, but not just for the girl power. No, no, it's not about that. It's about the narrative. Parasite Eve is about mitochondria that are brought by the female genes. So it's so connected about the two main characters of the game that are both two women, and it's pretty unique about this thing. Yeah, Seb, and you're gonna to see more. Yeah, yeah. I still can't believe this game was in just two discs because there are so many things on it for both gameplay, cutscenes, FMEV. Really, it's great. Maybe because Parasite Eve hasn't the dubbing, so they could spend less about the amount of sites for that. And of course, there's a reason because Aya's mitochondria is like this way. And not just because she's Maya's sister. There's another reason that we're gonna to face the next time. Daniel has a so berries vibes, and I love that. We all need a berry in our lives. I guess, I guess the only one that can get closer to Eve. So the American government decide to use her for uh, for killing Eve. And of course, Aya has own motivations, and not just because she's a policewoman, but also because it's about her sister. And then again, other FMEV cutscenes again. Beautiful. The direction, the soundtrack is so beautiful. Yeah, every time I'm playing Parasite Eve, I have my eyes in a shape of a heart. I'm a fangirl, I know. About the survival horror, I'm a fangirl. The soldiers are sacrifices. Oh my, sacrificing their own lives for in order to making Aya much closer as possible to Eve. Guys, sorry really for my bad English, but I'm doing this live streaming also for that, for improving my bad speaking. So thank you for bearing me, really. I do appreciate it so much. Yeah, Ghost Dragon. that's what. That's why I love so much this kind of games because they do what the new generation shouldn't do. So, focusing both to lore, plot, narrative, and also the gameplay. The gameplay is influenced by the narrative in the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games. And that's not anymore for the new games, of course. There are some genres, some titles that do for example, the Soulsborne, like Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and so on, of course. But it's not so common, unfortunately. But yeah, you totally got the point. Thanks God we can save. Yeah, I'm sure. Because it was written, do you want to save? And I put yeah. And then, are you sure? Of course I am. Oh my, this boss fight is very, very tough. I'll do my best, guys. Let's hope for good. Yeah, Seb, totally. We really miss those artists. And then just look at the design of Eve, for example. Is a monster, but at the same time is so feminine, so fascinating, but also creepy. I do miss also this kind of design for horror games. And as I told you before about the woman conflict, is very important for the plot that Eve is so sexual, is it? I can say this term right for the mitochondria about. And it's not vulgar at all because it's about the narrative. There's a reason about this design. It isn't fan service at all. And this reason, the conflict between the mitochondria and the nucleus is so unique. I really wish this lore, this narrative for a game for new generation. This is the liberate power of Aya about the mitochondria. Aya liberates her mitochondria and then evolves. You can see Aya just got transformed, and it's the most powerful attack of the whole game. But it consumes all the parasite energy. Oh my. Oh my. And this is the first part. Then the second one. Oh my, it's really tough. But just to listen to the soundtrack is wonderful. We did it. We finished, guys. Don't worry. We finished. Oh well, Resident Evil 3 Remake has such a wonderful soundtrack. I literally cried when I heard the staff credit with this remix. I literally cried. I'm not a crybaby. I'm pretty cold for some topics, but about the nostalgia, when that hit me, and Resident Evil 3 does like no one. Just just got me totally. So, especially about the staff credit, when it starts to play for the first time, I literally cried. So, yeah, I totally love Resident Evil 3 Remake soundtrack. And go on, you can prize Resident Evil 3 Remake all you want because I love that game. And I think I'm gonna to do some video about Resident Evil 3 remake because there's so much to tell about the kind of remake that it is. But really, it's pretty useless talking now in a Parasite Eve streaming. But I really want to do a talking video with all of you guys about Resident Evil 3 remake because I love Resident Evil 3 remake, but it isn't the perfect and what it should have been about a remake operation for Resident Evil 3 at all. But then we are gonna to talk about it really. So So, guys, we really do that. We finish the chapter, and then we have the last one, the day 6, that is a liberation. Of course, I want to save my progress. Of course, yeah. Let's save, please. Okay. And then this is for the last but one streaming about Parasite Eve. Thanks all for watching, for bearing me that I'm talking all time about survivor horror, Parasite Eve, Dino Crisis, Resident Evil. I'm doing all these topics in this video. Well, really, thank you for bearing my obsession about this genre. And yeah, I really think the next episode will be the last one about Parasite Eve because, as I've already told you, it's all about bosses fight. Of course, there are several cutscenes, especially the final one, but there is no exploration. There's not any sort of puzzles, enigma. It's all about fighting the last. I'm not going to spoil you, so it's all about boss fights and then okay, guys, really, thank you for watching. That's been me for, wow, for, I don't know, over one half of streaming. Really, I appreciate so much. Also for my very bad English, but or you pretty used to. Oh my, that's so awful. But I'm doing my best for improve it, and you really, your help is a must to me because if it isn't for you, I really couldn't talk in English outside, of course, for the Crimson Head team and nothing else because here in Italy we don't speak an English at all, and that's a huge problem. Yeah. So okay, guys, thank you again. Grazie for watching, and see you soon. Ciao.